for now. So we're going to be mixing, refining your audio clips, adding audio effects, and using automation. Hopefully at this point you have got, quite a bit of things going on in your mixes. I've still got a lot of room for additional things going on. But I wanted to show you a couple things before I get into using automation, just to kind of show you some ideas. I did find a good musical clip that I wanted to use at the beginning of this trailer, this piano part here. The problem is that I realized that I actually want this piano part to be playing and to kind of just slowly fade out while this shaker part comes in, and it's going to end up overlapping both of these tracks. And so what I really need to do is create a new audio track. So I just wanted to show you kind of, how and when to decide to do that. Remember, to create a new track, you just push Command T. And I'm going to drag this track up next to my other music tracks, and we'll just call this one Music 3. And as I said, as you get going, you might need to create some new tracks just depending on what you got. So this is my sample that I want to bring in here, and I really wanted to loop it out. So again, come down to the sample, the loop's not turned on, so I got to turn on warp and loop, and I'm just going to bring it out, and yeah, something right about like that. And again, I'm going to kind of draw a little fade out in, so it's kind of fading out as these other things are coming in. And it is a little bit loud, I know right off the bat, so I'm going to just kind of turn that way down too. And now we've got a good kind of opening music thing going.
Do you ever regret not coming with me? I always kind of thought you'd show up eventually. What's been keeping me here all this time?
Okay, now to kind of fine tune that, I do want it to actually come out just a little bit earlier than that, so I'm going to bring it back in something like, I want it totally out by the time these guys show up, so somewhere like that. Bring that fade out a little bit more. Okay, so now I've got a good intro. It kind of transitions into that nicely, I think. For this particular assignment, I'm going to just show you some more editing ideas and some ways to use audio effects to make your sound effects and music a little bit more impactful. First of all, you notice this dialogue's already getting buried pretty quick once we start adding sounds, and so I really recommend that you turn it up. If you just click on it, it'll come up as a sample just like anything else. Make this small, and then you can turn up the volume this way. Just be careful not to make it too loud. You don't want it to distort or clip, so kind of find the loudest moments and make sure that you're staying in that zone. And this isn't really loud talking anyway. It's they're in the bedroom talking there, and it's just so you don't want it to be abnormally loud for sure, right? I would even recommend possibly putting some effects on this voice just to kind of help smooth it out. So some things that I like to put on voice a lot of times are some audio effects. If you click on audio effect, and I generally like to put a compressor on voice, so we'll put that on. And there are some good presets for the compressor. I should probably show you these because we're not really going to get into a lot of specifics about compressors, but if you click on the little arrow next to it, it'll open up and it'll have some different presets. So just the generic compressor maybe. It's already got, the knobs are turned in a certain way, maybe gentle squeeze, maybe, I don't know. Let's try it and see what that does for us.
Can I ask you something? Do you ever regret not coming with me?
Yeah, you can tell that's already making a big difference on how well we can hear that. So you can try some different compressors with that. You can also, like I say, just turn up the volume a little bit on that voice. It's mixed really quiet. I think that's pretty usual though, just because it's better when you're sending a file to someone to give them some extra room to work with rather than send them too much. So I'm adding at least 8 decibels to that, just FYI. Let's also, this piano, I love it. It's got a good sound to it, but I want it a little bit more ominous kind of sounding. And so I'm going to add some reverb to it. Again, I'm going to click on this chip and go for a special kind of reverb. Let's look at what kind of settings they have, like forest floor or large space or something, like something that sounds kind of ominous, like a large space chorus. Let's see what that sounds like on the piano. Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
It's a little bit much, so I'm going to come down to this dry wet knob and just turn that down a little bit.
Can I ask you something? Do you ever regret not coming with me?
Okay. So that's just going to kind of give it a little bit more space, and reverb's really great for those types of things. Another thing that I want to add reverb to is that breath that we had going on at the end there, just to give it a little bit more presence, right? So I'm going to go for a really big reverb. I'm going to go to the hall category, and there's one in here called dark hall. I'm going to put that on there. Again, I'm going to dial the wet dry knob just back just a little bit because it's a little bit strong. Yeah, and I'm going to actually turn down this sound clip just a little bit. That's kind of overpowering the breathing on the end there. Okay, so cool. So reverb can be a really cool, especially for horror movies. Reverb's such a good thing, just because it kind of makes it sound like it's happening, in this imaginary space of your mind. And compressors, like I say, are good for just kind of leveling out things like vocals. A lot of these effects are not going to be great, it just depends on what you want to do. I mean, really, I guess you could make a case for any one of these working, but I definitely don't have enough time to show you all of them and show you, what they all do. So my advice, since we don't have a ton of time, is stick to ones that you kind of know. And reverb's a great one, like I say, for that. Echo could be a really cool one. I have some of these impact things that I have where it's like a gunshot. If I put a little bit of echo on that, maybe, I'm going to just drop that. Keep in mind, too, any effect that you drop on is actually going to apply to everything on that track, not just the one clip you dropped it on. And so kind of use that accordingly. If you want an effect to just happen on one clip and that's it, then probably the easiest way to do that is actually just to have that on its own track, right? So like if I only wanted the echo on this first impact hit, then I probably would want to make a new track that I'd put that echo on and only have that one sound effect on that one track. Like maybe this one, maybe in fact that, why don't we do that as an example? I'll put the echo on this final impact right there that happens there. And then that way it's not on these other ones, it's only on that one. So that's going to sound like this. You can hear that echo. If I solo it, you'll hear it. That's kind of really cool. I actually like that on all of them. Let's go ahead and do it. So like I say, if I put it on that one track, it's going to be applied to every single one of these clips. Yeah, that's kind of really cool, actually.
Sometimes it's okay. Some problems can't follow you. They're rooted in a place.
I don't think I can outrun my problems.